When I look back on everything that happened with me, it feels like a whole lifetime condensed into 2 years. It changed me more than I ever expected. I never expected a failed long-distance relationship to change my life, but it did. It started in January 2024. I was trying my best to stay afloat working 30 hours a week. I had moved to California at 19 for a stable life, and while I missed my old friends from the Pacific Northwest, I kept pushing forward. When I first met Lucio, a gay chub from Brooklyn, we met online through Bumble. From the beginning, Lucio liked having someone on the side, a backup partner, someone exclusive to him emotionally even while he saw other guys. He told me he'd been heartbroken since 2016. He said he didn't want long-distance relationships because they were dishonest, inconvenient, risky, and prone to scams. And those were just the tip of the iceberg. But still, he kept me around. Maybe something changed for him. He believed I was different from other LDR gays at first. Lucio and I built our relationship mostly through our screens. Despite telling me he didn't care about LDRs, he FaceTimed me almost daily. We'd talk, laugh, sometimes engage in heavy erotic activities like mutual showers, using toys, full cybersex sessions, and even fall asleep together on Zoom. We shared things I'd never shared with anyone before: intimacy, trust, vulnerability, and sexual exploration. For the first 5 months, everything was purely sexual for him. He told me straight up that he wasn't ready for love yet because of his broken heart from the chaos with his ex-boyfriend, Taze. Lucio and Taze even had a confrontation back in late 2023 that hurt Lucio very badly mentally. But then something shifted around June. He said he was falling in love with me. That he wanted me as his boyfriend. I was overjoyed. I had wanted that for months. He would talk openly about seeing other men, some friend with benefits like Jimmy, sometimes framing them as competition for my benefit, as if I had to outperform them in affection. He said he always preferred me. I found this framing very odd, but I let it pass. Anyone who did not work out, he would transfer affection over to me. I did love his provocative demeanor and his bold energy. Our FaceTime dinner dates became special to me. I'd treat him to nicer places like Applebee's, Olive Garden, Chili's, or Red Lobster when I could afford it, while he'd treat me to fast food, McDonald's, Wendy's, Taco Bell, Burger King, or Chick-fil-A. Yes, Chick-fil-A. He pushed me more than once to go to CFA specifically because he wanted it and was paying. I didn't mind too much, but it was clear he pushed more weight into his wants. I am familiar with how bigoted CFA is, which made me a little uncomfortable when going through. Some dates turned dramatic. Lucio would get mocked for having FaceTime dates, where he placed his phone across from his seat at the table. Even worse when homophobic people would notice Lucio was seeing another man. One incident at Chili's turned into pandemonium when a group of intoxicated jocks approached his camera and called both of us the F-slur. I froze, but Lucio snapped. He screamed at them breeders, challenged them to fight outside, and insulted them until the manager came over. The manager sided with us and even gave out dessert, both for him in New York, and had the Auburn Chili's do the same for me. That surprised me, because I found that my area in Cali was relatively more inclusive from homophobes than NYC, the birthplace of the Stonewall riots. But apparently, homophobia was rampant in New York. Or maybe he is too far from Christopher Street. He showed me Stonewall and all the surrounding area once while on FaceTime, which meant a lot to me. I had always dreamed of seeing NYC landmarks with him, Times Square, Central Park, but after how scared he was of the homophobia around him, he never wanted to tour me through FaceTime anywhere, and it has to be in person instead. He often told me about his personal hatred for Taze. How he believed Taze drove him to suicide in 2016 during a birthday breakup on April 3rd. Every April 3rd for 2 years, 2024 and 2025, he'd ask me, "Would you ever hurt me on my birthday?" It made me uneasy, like he was reliving trauma through me. I tried to show my love in other ways. For his birthdays and Christmases, I sent money so he could buy New York Comic-Con tickets. Altogether, I gave him nearly $1,000 over time. He gave me small gifts, a $15 McDonald's gift card on my birthday in 2024, a $25 Krispy Kreme gift card in 2025, and a $25 Apple Pay card for Christmas, $65 total. It's the thought that counts, I guess. There were hard periods, too. His depression and bipolar episodes made him disappear for weeks. He ghosted me more than once. I was being patient, especially when he spiraled after Trump got elected again. When he told me he sprained his knee and ankle slipping on black ice and caused him to lose pay, or when he had drama with his mother that caused him to act irrationally in Olive Garden and lose a friend over said incident. I thought supporting him through these lows was what love meant. We kept ourselves busy together, watching The Whale, watching an entire season of Boots at a bar near me, playing Cards Against Humanity, Apples to Apples, and especially doing Mad Libs. I loved those games, especially since I'd lost touch with old friends after high school. Being able to play with him felt like getting a piece of my old happiness back. Lucio also loved bonding with me and delighted when I was having fun. The topic of homophobic slurs did come up. I cannot stand homophobic bigoted slurs, while Lucio would instead embrace them to take power away from those words. He did defend me because he did not want me to get hurt, just like on those nights where we get targeted by bigots. Lucio is more offended by actions rather than words. But everything changed in June 2025. Lucio arranged what he deemed an important Zoom meeting. He told me he wanted to take the next step. I needed to make moving arrangements to Brooklyn and live with him, visiting him and eventually moving into NYC. I explained calmly that I wasn't ready. I loved Colfax. My job was stable. NYC terrified me, the trains and buses, the crowds, the danger, the homophobia he himself had experienced. I said I'd visit, but moving was too much. He pleaded at first. Said his mom would help us both if I moved. Said if he were rich he'd move to Colfax for me, but he couldn't because he only made minimum wage and couldn't hold down a job for too long. And when pleading didn't work, it turned into pressure. Emotional manipulation. Love bombing. Guilt tripping. Accusing me of being selfish, uncommitted, and inconsiderate. I wouldn't change my answer. Not because I didn't love him, but because moving across the country wasn't something I could do lightly, as right then was not a good time. He claimed that he was going to have other friends convince him, but when we FaceTimed, he rejected me again, harsh. That was the beginning of the end. A week later, he came back, angry, cold. No friends wanted to help him coax me, so he felt that had to rethink the situation. He asked if I still loved him, and even when I said yes, he answered, "I don't believe you." He said my refusal to move proved I didn't love him and he felt betrayed. He accused me of not caring enough to improve my finances, not taking out loans or credit cards to support his hypothetical move to California. He said I lacked drive, desire, and commitment. He accused me of not believing in him despite the way he defended him, past boyfriends, family, and friends. I told him I believed in us, that I wanted our relationship to grow at a steady pace. That we'd been together for a year and needed more time to mature as a couple. He dismissed everything. Said long distance wasn't special anymore, that for weeks he'd been faking enthusiasm. Said he was bored with our last date on June 20th. Said he was done. Then he accused me of cheating. When I offered to show him my entire phone live on camera to prove I was not, he ignored it. He said that his heart was broken 9 years ago and he feels that he is going to get his heart broken again. He said the relationship was too unhealthy for him and ended it. He also stated that he was wasting his time on a LDR, that Taze showed no mercy to him when he pleaded not to end it on his birthday, and that he should be grateful that Lucio did not cut him off during his birthday. He blocked me everywhere. I was devastated. But I told myself he needed space. That his mental illness was influencing him. I waited a month. I set aside small amounts to gamble and play the lottery, not recklessly, just trying to scrape together extra cash since he wanted financial proof of commitment someday. Most of it didn't work. I lost the gamble with set-aside money, didn't win the lottery, couldn't flip anything for profit. But I kept trying. Instead, I worked overtime. I took on cleaning tasks, trained some people as a personal trainer, anything I could do to earn more money. In August, I tried reaching him again, gently, spaced out over days. Every attempt was blocked. He even hung up without a word when I called from a different number. I didn't want to become a stalker or fly to NYC. I just waited and watched from a distance. Then in October, after he publicly asked for donations because of a bank overdraft, I donated $100 with a note saying I really wanted to talk. He unblocked me, but when we FaceTimed, he rejected me again, harshly. He said my donation was a form of harassment. He compared me to a creepy leech one his former friends talked about. Said creepy leech wanted the former friend to leave his job at a convention to be at the leech's house just because he was lonely that his roommate left. After being cut off over this action, the leech went on a harassing tirade with nasty phone calls and emails, one where the target was called a nasty fat-ass whale. The police never cared, and neither did the target's family or hardly anyone for that matter, despite the internet seemingly having a hatred of manipulating creeps. Lucio said I was becoming just like that creepy leech. I finally convinced him to hear me out. I explained that I'd earned money through overtime, janitorial work, heavy lifting, covering shifts. I showed him my pay stub and the $3,500 I'd saved. He was shocked. He thanked me. Then immediately said it was too late. He said he realized after the breakup that he could never leave NYC because he'd be homesick. Said he never truly intended to move to California anyway. Said he should have known long distance wouldn't work for him. And then he gave me an ultimatum. He held up a familiar phone number on a notepad to the screen and asked me to move with him and to forget all the drama, or else he would contact my parents to out me as a gay man. He knew my parents did not like gays because I once let him know. I wanted to come out when I was financially stable enough. My heart dropped. I went silent. All the love I had for him evaporated. I told him I needed under an hour. I hung up and called my mom. I came out to her. She called me the Spanish homophobic slur. Told me she never wanted to speak to me again. Said my dad would never accept me either. I recorded the entire call, the entire shattering of my family, because Lucio was holding leverage over me and I wanted to take that away from him. Then I called him back. I played the recording. When it ended, I told him that I will never move to NYC. He will never use my sexuality against me again. He is not welcome in Colfax where I am. I never want to see him again. He said, good riddance. Said the whole thing was my fault. Said I should have left him alone and got the hint. Said he wasn't going to let harassers get away with anything. Moving in was the only option or face the consequences. He gave up on me the moment I refused. I hung up and blocked him. After that, everything collapsed. I felt suicidal. I checked myself into a mental hospital for 2 weeks. The only thing that saved me was my siblings and relatives, the ones who still accepted me. They invited me to Thanksgiving. They made me feel human again. And one day, scrolling through #LGBT memes, I saw a meme with Lucio's face, eyes blacked out, and that's when I reached out to Taze. I finally told him what happened. I couldn't keep it inside anymore. Taze invited me into the server, told me his side of the story, and who Lucio truly is as a character. Because surviving something like that means learning to speak it out loud.